They hit Caitlin Clark all game, but then Sophie Cunningham snapped and made the entire WNBA pay attention. What you're about to see changed everything.
Yeah! Slam her to the floor. Slam her through the floor. Y'all want to play dirty? Sophie gonna hold it down.
I'm clapping Sophie Cunningham off the floor. We're clapping Sophie Cunningham off the floor right now. We're clapping her off the floor. She's getting high-fived off the floor right now.
Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball.
Sophie Cunningham steps up, grabs her, knocks her down, gets a flagrant 2 for this. They end up calling.
Look at Sophie. She's waiting for it. She's waiting for it, fam. And then I see why Allen got kicked out. Allen went for the throw.
This was all game, folks. All game. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were getting checked all game.
Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose.
Sophie Cunningham gives a take foul, a very hard one. She straight up tackled Jacy Sheldon.
What we witnessed on that court wasn't just another WNBA game, it was a war. The Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun matchup started out slow, almost forgettable. But then the energy shifted, chaos exploded, and in the center of it all stood Sophie Cunningham, delivering a message so loud, so bold, the entire league had no choice but to hear it.
Sophie Cunningham. At the end of the game, Jacy Sheldon is going for a fast break layup, and Sophie Cunningham is running with her. And I remember in my head, like, it happened in a split second, and I said, oh.
The arena froze. Sophie Cunningham stepped forward and landed a blow that shook the entire game. Fans are calling it what it was, payback for Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just hustle, this was vengeance. Sophie unleashed a hit so powerful, the Connecticut Sun won't forget it anytime soon. This wasn't basketball, it was personal.
Sophie Cunningham gives a take foul, a very hard one. She straight up tackled Jacy Sheldon. Don't get it twisted. That was not a hard foul. She tackled her. That was a dirty play, in my opinion. She did exactly what she wanted to do. Now, even though Jacy Sheldon, she leaned forward and she really got into Sophie's chest. And Sophie put her arms around her and drug her to the ground. Because Sophie didn't fall down. She threw Jacy Sheldon down.
Sophie brought the heat, and then everything blew up. The arena exploded. The internet lost its mind. A foul, more like a firestorm. Hands flew, bodies clashed, and in that moment, Sophie Cunningham stamped her name into what might be one of the most unforgettable showdowns in WNBA history.
Look at Sophie. She's waiting for it. She's waiting for it, fam. And then I see why Allen got kicked out. Allen went for the throw. Allen went for Sophie's throat. Literally have her hand on her neck right there. Oh my goodness. But she's focused on Sheldon. So she reaches for Sheldon, grabs the back of her head. Is Sophie handling both of them? Oh my goodness. It looked like Sophie might have one hand on Allen, the other hand holding on to Sheldon's hair or the back of her head. Oh my goodness.
The message was loud and crystal clear. We're done being silent. In a game dripping with elbows, shoves, and raw emotion, one moment stood above the rest. Caitlin Clark was being targeted all night, grabbed, shoved, disrespected, and it was Sophie Cunningham who finally stood up and said, enough is enough.
And eventually, Sophie Cunningham had enough. Oh yeah. Sophie Cunningham had enough. Folks, shout out to Sophie Cunningham. We wanted somebody like this that said, I'm tired of this. I'm trying to step up. It's time to step up. We're not going to get punked anymore. We're not going to get pushed around anymore. We're not going to get treated like a little sister anymore, like a little brother anymore. We are going to start being the ones that say, you know what? We're not going to start the fight.
This wasn't supposed to be historic, just another heated WNBA clash. Until it wasn't, emotions ran wild. Old college rivalries lit up like fire, and right in the middle of the storm, Sophie Cunningham stepped in, took control, and delivered a hit so fierce, the whole arena froze in disbelief.
Came out and thought it was all good, but who was waiting for her? Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham steps up, grabs her, knocks her down, gets a flagrant 2 for this. They end up calling.
The crowd exploded. Commentators lost all composure. And the refs, they had no clue what to do. This wasn't a routine foul. This was a declaration. Now, everyone's asking the same question. Was Sophie's move revenge, or was it long overdue justice?
Like, the commentators are calling out the WNBA. Like this is... I've never seen this. The commentators are literally saying the refereeing is bad for basketball. Like, I've never heard anything like this before. I've never seen anything like this before.
Sophie Cunningham had enough, and this time, it was personal. With a minute left, the tension finally exploded. Arms flew, tempers flared. All of it tracing back to how Caitlin Clark had been abused all game. That eye gouge, that hip check. That wasn't the end, it was just the start. And what Sophie did next, oh, they'll remember it forever.
This is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go. So there's that.
The game dragged early on. Fans were bored, some even yawning, but then it erupted. Jacy Sheldon locked onto Caitlin Clark, swiped, and hit her right in the eye. Clark, clearly fed up, gave a light shove to clear space. But what followed next turned boring basketball into an all-out explosion.
Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because Jacy stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere.
Sure, the Indiana Fever won 88-71, but that score? No one's talking about it. From tip-off, the tension was electric. You could feel it building, the hard bumps, the death stares, the after whistle shoves. Coach Stephanie White said, "At best, we knew this was coming, and the refs, they lost control early. Missed calls, phantom fouls, it was chaos wrapped in inconsistency."
But the only thing everybody want to talk about is the fight, right? Now, this wasn't just the pushing and shoving thing. In my opinion, this was as close as you can get to a fight without somebody throwing some blows. Now, first, before we get into some of the video footage, let's hear Stephanie White and her thoughts on what happened.
Caitlin Clark kept hitting the floor again and again. Still, no ejections, no whistles, just silence. Marina Mabrey was still out there swinging. Jacy Sheldon hacking away, it was madness. And Clark? Left completely exposed, this wasn't one game, it had been building for weeks. Everyone saw it, and then finally, Sophie stepped in.
Jacy Sheldon, you out there doing all that hacking, up 1 for 4, 0 for 3. You was minus 22, 2 points. Like, stop it. Stop it. Y'all stink. And you guys are hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all looking for attention in all the wrong places, man. Let your skills and your game do. See, that's the problem. Y'all not good enough.
So much went down in this game, but it all kept circling back to Sophie and Jacy. From the opening tip, you could feel the tension. After that early scuffle between Clark and Sheldon, it was clear Sophie had her target. That tension, it was heavy, and then it snapped. On a fast break, Jacy grabbed a steal and charged until Sophie cut her off, but it didn't stop there. Midway through the third, Marina Mabrey flew in like an NFL safety, full speed body checking Caitlin Clark too. The floor, no flop, no exaggeration. Just violence, no ejection, no justice, just dirt. And still, no one stepped up to stop it.
Sophie Cunningham. Jacy Sheldon going up for a layup, puts her head down like a running back, exploding through the hole. Sophie Cunningham wraps her up, tosses her little ass to the ground, says, "What's good?" And then Lindsay Allen goes after her along with Jacy Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham. Look at Sophie Cunningham taking it 2-on-1. Sophie Cunningham going 2-on-1 underneath the basket. Sophie Cunningham, salute.
Jacy Sheldon, my goodness, dog. My goodness. Now, honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of Jacy after the Caitlin Clark and Jacy kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened, okay? The fast break, you see Sheldon taking it after getting a steal. Sophie wraps her arms around her. Now, this is normal, okay?
The physicality in this game was off the charts. Sheldon wasn't just defending Clark, she was targeting her. That eye poke. It triggered memories of every cheap shot Clark's taken this season. Then Marina shoved Caitlin again, hard, and only got a technical. Through all of it, Caitlin stayed locked in. But you could feel it coming. It all boiled over when Sheldon got up, and Sophie didn't hesitate. She wrapped her up around the neck, and the crowd went absolutely nuts. Commentators were stunned. People had said it before, only Sophie would throw down for Caitlin, and she proved them right. No hesitation, no mistake. Sophie handled it and handled it hard.
Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham steps up, grabs her, knocks her down, gets a flagrant 2 for this, they end up calling. Sophie takes a step back, gathers herself. Jacy Sheldon kind of gets up, and another teammate, I don't recall the young lady's name, tried to get in Sophie's face. Sophie fights him back. They're running each other, and they start choking each other. And, you know, Cunningham's kind of in control, it seemingly, because Sheldon's head is getting, like, pushed down.
I feel like Sophie Cunningham was the only one who would have done something back if she was on the floor. Sophie Cunningham got her. Sophie Cunningham got her. And I mean this when I say this. This would have been a flagrant 2, except for the fact that they allowed Marina Mabrey did what she did. This possibly should be a flagrant 2. She got her around the neck. And then Jacy Sheldon gets up, and then Sophie immediately goes at Jacy Sheldon, grabs her.
This goes back to when the WNBA referees completely lost the plot. It started with Jacy Sheldon delivering what looked exactly like a DJ Carrington-style eye gouge. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Marina Mabrey came charging in like a street brawler and delivered a brutal hip check, straight out of the Kennedy Carter playbook. You could see Clark trying to create space, and then bam, the shove. The twist, total disrespect, no sportsmanship, no rules, just violence.
We got Jacy Sheldon right here. She's going to give Caitlin Clark the Dejanay Carrington eye gouge. And then Marina Mabrey's going to come in like some thug off the street and pull a Kennedy Carter on Caitlin Clark. Let's watch
Caitlin
this.
Clark is trying to create some.
I'm going to turn this down. There's the eye gouge, okay? And there's Mabrey right there with the hip check, the shove. That's the eye gouge. And then right there, good God almighty.
And all the while, the tension kept rising. This wasn't just another chippy game, this was history. Clark and Sheldon have beef going back to college, with Caitlin owning a 12-0 record over her. In this game, Sheldon was relentless. Full court pressure, face guarding, blitzing every screen, grabbing at arms. And Clark, known for her poise and confidence, wasn't getting her usual whistles. You could see the frustration in her eyes, her body language slipped. She started pleading with refs. Then came the slap. Sheldon caught Clark across the face. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but it was the last straw. Clark hit back with a stiff arm, and Sheldon, she came back, swinging.
This is a matchup, if you guys aren't familiar. Caitlin Clark and Jacy Sheldon, of all people, I feel like this is the rivalry. These are two players who do not seem to like one another at all. And this goes all the way back to college. And when Iowa was going up against Ohio State, Caitlin Clark is 12-0 against Jacy Sheldon. And what we saw in this Connecticut Sun game was Jacy Sheldon picking Caitlin Clark up full court. It was back to rookie year defensive strategies against Caitlin Clark. Guarding her full court, face guarding her, blitzing her on every single screen, double teaming her. Like, that was the Connecticut Sun defensive strategy strategy for Caitlin Clark, and Jacy Sheldon was in her face the entire time.
Sophie Cunningham wasn't having it. When the moment came, she cashed in. Alan and Sheldon tried to get slick, but Sophie read it like a pro, snatched a steal, and then boom, slammed Jacy Sheldon straight to the floor. No hesitation, no. Mercy, that wasn't just a foul, it was a warning. Touch Caitlin and you answer to me. The crowd went wild. Everyone watching knew Sophie is built for this. She didn't just defend her teammate, she sent a message. You bring dirt. Sophie brings war, fired up, fearless, and ready to throw down.
Sophie
by Allen, and Sheldon comes up with the steal.
Yeah, slam her to the floor, slam her through the floor. Y'all want to play dirty? Sophie gonna hold it down. Sophie is going to hold it down. Stephanie White, you make sure Sophie's in the game every time Caitlin's in now. Just in case anything pop off, she there ready to.
Sophie, she was ready. You could see it in her stance. Jacy got up and came right for her. And out of nowhere, Lindsay Allen jumped in too, hand around Sophie's neck. It was a full-on melee. But Sophie didn't flinch. One hand on Allen, one on Sheldon's head, controlling both. She looked like a true enforcer, holding the chaos in her hands like it was nothing.
Yo, then Sophie just holding her like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh my goodness, fam. I mean, literally. Just holding her and talking to her. Just giving her a good talking. Just giving her a good talking, man. Oh my goodness. Now, honestly, I think this is a rivalry, man. This is a rivalry right here.
With under a minute left, the moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived. The arena was on edge. Caitlin Clark had taken hits all game. No one responded until Sophie did. Sheldon drove the lane like a running back, but Sophie stepped up, wrapped her up, slammed her down, and stared right through her. And then Allen charged in. Sophie stood her ground, 2-on-1, no fear, no flinch, just fire.
Sophie Cunningham, salute. 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 Sophie Cunningham did her jail son. I can't let you get close, Vanderlei. I can't let you get close. Oh, I love to see it. I love to see it. Again, folks, there comes a time where you got to stand up for yourself. There comes a time when you get bullied and you get bullied and you get bullied and your mom's like, no, just walk away, just leave it alone, ignore it, they'll eventually let you. But the bullies don't let you go. The bullies don't leave you alone. The bullies just see that as more weakness, so they continue to bully, they continue to bully, they continue to bully. And then eventually, you need somebody, or you need a moment where you're willing to step up and say, bump all this.
Fast break. Jacy Sheldon thought she had a free run. But standing in her path, Sophie Cunningham. And without even blinking, Sophie dropped her, sent her crashing to the hardwood. The arena went wild. The refs called a flagrant 2. Teammates got in each other's faces, bodies flew. It stopped being a game and turned into a battlefield. Choking, shoving, madness. And in the middle of it all, one truth stood out. Sophie wasn't just defending, she was making a statement for Caitlin Clark, and it echoed through the league.
This is a way, in Sophie Cunningham's case, someone stepping up for Caitlin Clark almost like never before, immediately targeting the person that was targeting them. And I feel like Jacy Sheldon was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game.